Welcome to the Town of Canmore. We are really glad to have you part of our team. This video was created to orient you to a program called the Natural Step, also called TNS, and to explain its role at the Town of Canmore. The Natural Step is a tool that the town uses to help us move toward a sustainable Canmore. The basis of the TNS is the funnel. Essentially, in the funnel, we've got life-supporting resources declining, like the depletion of resources in the Amazon rainforest. Right here in Canmore, there are concerns about reductions in good grizzly bear habitats. In the funnel, we've also got our own use of the world increasing, like more roads being built, more and more cars, and more buildings and homes being constructed. All these activities put a stress on the world's resources. Together, these practices are entering a funnel and coming together in a collision course. We know this collision course is happening right now. We see evidence of that all around the world, as well as locally. We do have opportunities, however, to do something about that. At the Town of Canmore, this is where the natural step comes in. We can reduce or control the impact of our behaviors. We can sustain ourselves by maintaining an opening in the funnel. This is the sweet spot of the natural step. It's what we are trying to achieve: reduce our own impact and enable life-supporting resources to support us in the future. With TNS, we have an opportunity to understand how the funnel works and to reduce the impact of our activities here in Canmore and elsewhere. In 2004, the town became an early adopter of the Natural Step. The town was one of several organizations in the community who committed to using the Natural Step to work towards a sustainable Canmore.
The Town of Canmore adopted the Natural Step process a number of years ago, and one of the real driving forces there was that Canmore saw itself, and still sees itself today, as a very environmentally minded community. We wanted to do something on a broader scale to ensure that we were making Canmore sustainable. But at the same time, we also wanted to play a part in the broader picture, which is the sustainability of the earth in itself. So it's that incremental effect. It's that making a difference. Even though we're making a difference at the Canmore level, we're making a difference nationally, internationally.
Since adopting the Natural Step, the town has done a lot of work to understand and incorporate the Natural Step into the processes and procedures we use on a daily basis. We've also had a look at how to use resources to provide our services. The Natural Step is now incorporated in many of our guiding documents and our daily practices. We are also always looking for other ways to use the Natural Step and to improve our practices so they stay more in line with the Natural Step. For example,
one of our most recent Natural Step projects was our office supply swap. I thought that was a really nice idea. We had asked every employee to collect all of the items that they are not using, or items that have been accumulated in their office for over a time. We then asked them to put them on a desk, and then every other employee could go and check out what items were not used, recollect them for themselves. And so we were actually reducing the amount of orderings that we had. We just redistributed all the office supplies this way. I thought that was a very good idea.
Some of the things that we have changed out to meet some Natural Steps initiatives are the lighting in the bays. We've switched to a high efficiency lighting that uses about 80% less electricity than our conventional or the original sodium lights that were installed when the building was built back in '88. One of the other things that we've done to the building, because of the traffic that can come and go, like I said, is we've switched to high efficiency furnaces on the occupant side of the building, because we have people living here 24 hours, and there's people sleeping here. There are dorms. The furnaces have been changed over to high efficiency furnaces. Also, we've had high efficiency cooling systems put in for the summer months, but because of where we live, they don't get used all that much.
the word sustainability is tossed around a lot these days, but what does it really mean? At the Town of Canmore, we use the Natural Step to help us define and understand sustainability and how it relates to life in Canmore and how it relates to our work at the town.
Hi, my name's Alaric Fish. I work in the Planning and Engineering Department for the Town of Canmore. The Engineering and Planning Department has been working on a number of initiatives to move the town towards a more sustainable method of operating. Primarily, we're looking at trying to increase density in a number of existing areas and in the new areas in town. So we have a more sustainable built form of construction and places for people to live. But realizing that we're doing these good things, there are a number of challenges. So while we have a green building policy that requires all new homes to be built to a green standard, to include green innovations, the reality is that a lot of the properties being built in Canmore are being bought by non-residents. While this isn't a bad thing necessarily, it really challenges the notion of sustainability in terms of a property might be used for a few weekends a year or maybe a few months a year, but sits empty the rest of the time. So while we feel like we're making some progress on sustainability, some of the underlying foundational values really challenge sustainability. That's something that's hard for us to deal with. Council has been very supportive in some of their direction to move towards a more sustainable form of development in Canmore, but we still have this challenge of market forces and things that we can't control very well.
One definition of sustainability is taking from the earth today only enough to satisfy our needs, but not so much that future generations will have trouble meeting their needs. There are many ways we can do this. For example,
hi, my name is Jamie Carpenter. I'm the Parks and Open Space Planner for the Town of Canmore. Recent surveys suggest that the town's trail system is one of the most valued community amenities in Canmore. Our trails connect us to the mountain environment, and this is important for residents and visitors alike. Now, while trails are used for recreational purposes, from walking the dog or hardcore mountain bike riding, they're also important as a way to connect from A to B in our community. Instead of driving everywhere, why not use our trail system? That's kind of the idea behind our planning right now. As we plan for the future of our trail system, we're thinking about things like trailheads, crossings of the river, crossings of the railway tracks, of the highway, and making things easier for people that choose to ride their bikes and walk rather than take their motor vehicles. As we move into the future, a more sustainable Canmore can be found by using the trail systems here all around town.
the natural step provides 4 system conditions that categorize all the elements of sustainability. It is important to note that the system conditions are in no particular order. They are all equally important. Condition number 1. Don't take stuff out of the ground that cannot be reincorporated into the ecosystem. We need to look for ways to avoid digging up resources too quickly. This has to do with our use of things like fossil fuels or mining for steel and ore. Not only do we take these things from the earth, we take them at a much faster rate than the earth can create or replenish them.
In order to maintain our parks and green spaces, we at the Parks Department need to make such purchases of tools, equipment and products. To save the environment, we at the Parks Department make our purchasing in bulk orders in conjunction with the other service areas within the public works. That would comprise of parks, solid waste and streets and roads. We order such items as safety gear, lubricants, floor dry, ice melt, horticultural supplies and fertilizers in bulk. We make a list, we place the order in bulk, and then we divide the costs and portion it out between each surface area once the bill arrives. In terms of the natural step, bulk ordering not only saves the town money, but it saves the environment by reducing packaging and fuel emissions out of the Earth's crust.
Condition number 2. Don't put more man-made things into the ecosystem than the ecosystem can naturally break down. The classic example is garbage. We create garbage and throw it away. It takes much longer for the garbage to break down than it takes us to create more garbage.
Facilities Department has a big part to do with sustainability. We're always trying to figure out different ways of trying to help out our organization becoming more sustainable. One little thing that we've done is we've provided everybody with a recycle bin and a mini garbage can. This mini garbage can is tiny, so when it fills up with garbage, which if you produce much garbage it fills up pretty quickly, you have to take it to the garbage yourself and empty it. This discourages people from producing much garbage. On the other hand, your recycle bin is a nice big container. And we have conveniently located recycle stations where you can take your recycling, drop it off in the location provided, and that little, it doesn't seem like much, but it reminds people, don't produce much garbage. If you bring a lot of garbage to work, you're going to have to make a lot of trips to the garbage can, so this reminds you not to do that. That's all I've got to say, thanks.
Hi, I'm Larry Shine from the Streets and Roads Department. I'm here to talk a little bit about recycled asphalt that's being tested by the town of Canmore. We use this recycled asphalt we get millings off of roads that are being repaired. We save the millings and we store them, and then after a while we take them to our laneways. We spread it out on our laneways, we roll them, we pack them and grade it out and make it so that it keeps the dust down in the laneways. So there's no more holes, less maintenance in the laneways. It frees us up for doing more maintenance on other areas we can do in the town, and it's a cost-effective thing, and it's great for our environment.
Condition number 3, protect the natural environment, which through processes like photosynthesis breaks down the bad stuff humans put into the ecosystem. This means we avoid degrading the natural systems by cutting down forests, draining wetlands, farming grasslands, and using water unnecessarily. Not only does this decrease wildlife habitat, but it interferes with the natural cycle that sustains our planet, which is our home.
My name is Tristan Holmes and I'm with Solid Waste Services. Today I'm here in front of the community recycling trailer. Our recycling trailer was introduced to Canmore to help make it more convenient for the residents to collect their recyclables. The collection of recyclables helps us to save space in our existing landfills, which are rapidly approaching their limits. With our existing landfills reaching their capacity, it's more and more important for us to collect as much recyclable as possible. For example, recycling a newspaper here in Canmore helps to save space in those landfills. It also helps us to eliminate the need to cut down more trees to make more available newsprint. The newsprint that we do collect here does come back into Alberta MBC as new newspapers for us to read in the future. The collection of recyclables satisfies the third initiative of the natural step, which is preventing the degradation of nature.
And finally, condition number 4, avoid systematic barriers that prevent people from meeting their needs. This means that we have to make sure that we set up conditions so that people can get what they need. Things like food, shelter, water, and transportation, so they don't have to worry about survival.
Hi, my name is Margaret. I'm with the Recreation and Facilities Service Area. The Town of Canmore is pleased to provide recreation program opportunities for our community. Our commitment is to develop recreation programs which are inclusive and serve to enhance the healthy lifestyles of Canmore residents while fostering community vitality. Applying the natural step to recreation programming involves moving towards such initiatives as paperless program registration, utilizing recycled and fair trade products in our day camps, and making recreation more accessible to low-income families. From day camp programs to lifelong learning, we will strive towards a more sustainable future.
So, at the Town of Canmore, we try to use the natural step as a shared language. The Town of Canmore is a diverse, large organization. We have a number of different perspectives and ideas in our corporation. We want to respect the diversity on our staff, while at the same time share a vocabulary and an understanding of sustainability. This is where the natural step comes in. The goal is to use TNS and its shared language as a compass, a guide to help us develop a shared vision and direction, and a way to work together to become a sustainable community.
Hi, I am Don Cogan, the Chief Administrative Officer for the Town of Canmore, and I'm standing in the Canmore's Civic Center. The Civic Center that I am in is the first Silver Leads building in Alberta, and it also is the fourth Silver Leads building in Canada. And the reason it is a Silver Leads building, it represents our leadership in energy and environmental design. The building has a lot of features in it that captures this special feature and award, and a lot of it relates to the air quality that's in the facility, the water conservation that we were able to generate, the power energy savings that we're able to utilize, our recycling initiatives as far as incorporating different materials into the facility. And with all these features, we were able to capture the 4 system distance of the total natural step. So a tremendous success of all as far as making sure that we have a facility that best offers comfort to our staff in the town of Canmore.
Where is Canmore today? If you think about Canmore today, you may think about the development that is happening across town. As you look at a new condo going up, you may think of the funnel that we talked about earlier, which is closing in fast. Currently, there are many initiatives in Canmore. In fact, a lot of creative and forward thinking has gone into where we are today as a town, and where we are going in the future.
My name is Greg. I'm with Bylaw Services here in the town of Canmore. In my role, I'm required to travel through town to respond to citizen complaints, patrol trails, and spend time downtown. Canmore's getting bigger. There's way more traffic. It's getting really hard to find a parking spot. When I'm in a vehicle, it gets frustrating when you're looking for a spot. So when the weather gets better, I like to get on one of these. These are one of our Bylaw Services Bionics electronic assist bikes. These allow me to ride all day without getting tired, and I never have to worry about finding a parking spot. Not only is it fun, this helps out with the natural step. How does it do that? When I'm out there, I'm not putting out any emissions, I'm not using any gas, and there's no wear and tear on the town vehicles.
Additionally, a lot of community thought about sustainability is captured in the Mining the Future community vision. This document was created by over 500 members of the community at large, and it functions as a vision for both the town corporation and for the community. As a new employee, you're encouraged to read the executive summary of the Mining of the Future vision. It's a brief and easy read. Ask your supervisor for a copy or look for it on the town's website. One of the core values identified in the Mining of the Future vision is sustainability, which is explained, as a community we integrate our social, economic, and environmental activities in ways that will enable us to meet the needs of the current generations without compromising the needs of the future generations to meet their needs. Here's one of the many examples of how we are working towards this goal.
One of the really good examples of policy that is following out of the natural step process is the Sustainability Screening Reports, or SSR reports. And it's very simple in reality. What we're asking the development community to do is come forward with a document that explains their social benefit, economic benefit, and environmental benefit to the community in relation to our long-term sustainability. So the really simple question is, what net benefit is there from your project for the community of Canmore, and what will your project do to help to sustain Canmore into the future? And the Sustainability Screening Report is just that simple. Sounds simple, very difficult to do, but the interesting thing is that the development community is coming forward and they are standing up and they are trying to meet the challenge. But it's a question they have never asked themselves before, and I think that's incredibly interesting. And so by default, we've brought the whole development industry into the natural step process, because now they have to start to evaluate their project and how it is going to relate to Canmore in both today and in the future. And that's a question they've never asked themselves before.
My name is Pete. I work with the engineering department. I've been here about 2 years. In the engineering department, we're focusing on sustainability. And one of the things about sustainability that comes up is the alternate modes of transportation. We're trying to get people out of their cars. We're trying to get them to walk and bike instead of using the vehicle. This is very tough, especially in Alberta. But if we build neighborhoods and pathways that are more conducive to pedestrian travel, then people will realize this, and they will realize that it's more efficient for them to get around by using these alternate forms of transportation, and we want that to happen. And with the price of gas, how is that a bad idea?
Each town department has developed goals and objectives related to their implementation of the natural step. They added target dates and budget implications. All the information was put together in one document called the Natural Step Master Plan. The master plan is updated annually. Your new ideas and suggestions are welcome. It's important to note that no one at the town of Canmore is pretending that we've got it all right in the terms of sustainability. There are many things we could do better, and some would argue that some of what we do doesn't help us reach sustainability at all. The goal of this video isn't to convince anyone that we are doing it perfectly. The goal is to keep the conversation rolling, to encourage people to really wrestle with the ideal of sustainability, and to recognize that there are ways in our work with the town that we can do many things, some big, some small, that help us move one step closer.
I hope you've enjoyed this very brief introduction to the natural step and some of the ways that we use it as a tool towards sustainability at the town. There's a lot more to know about the natural step, and if you're interested, I really encourage you to contact your supervisor or your senior manager and have them walk you through the town's natural step master plan as well as the specific initiatives from your department. You can also contact me and I can set you up with an e-license so that you can take an online tool to learn more about the natural step. It's a long road to sustainability, but we can get there together, step by natural step. Thanks.